Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Dynamics 365 Tech Talk. Today's topic is Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management in Warehouse Management Only Mode. My name is Nicole Gump, and I will be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this session through Teams Live event. The session is being recorded on behalf of the Microsoft Corporation. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Per Lynnerup, and I will hand it over to him to get started.
Thanks a lot, Nicole. Let me start by kicking off the agenda for you, where we will talk about the new preview feature, Warehouse Management Only Mode. Cover some of the high-level architectural processes, showcasing some of the needed configurations, built for having this running for your inbound processes, outbound, and the internal warehouse operations. And then we will wrap up with reviewing some of the key resources, information, links to different kind of channels, and I'll try to do my best to keep some time for Q&A at the end. So, introduction to the warehouse management only mode. What it actually is a cloud warehouse management system implemented into the Microsoft Dynamics 365 supply chain management solution. So it's built to address your specific operational requirements, having a quick roll-out process designed to integrate with any ERP and order management system. So really you should see this as an enhancement on top of the already existing capabilities we offer as part of the Microsoft Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Warehouse Management module. And we foresee that customers implementing the Warehouse Management Only Mode integrated with their ERP system or order management system will have the same possibilities to leverage the out-of-the-box third-party material handling equipment solutions, integrate to carriers and carrier hubs, leveraging the ecosystem of Microsoft first-party solutions to rapidly enable only extended scenarios for warehouse and distribution beyond the advanced core warehouse functionality. And we kind of have four obvious scenarios in mind for this. The first one is running with a external ERP integrated with the warehouse management only mode. Here, the D365 deployment will only use the warehouse workload. And the second line is more a process of running D365 supply chain as the ERP with an integration to a different deployment running warehouse management only mode. And third is like let's call it migration scenario, starting up with an external ERP solution, having integrations to warehouse management only mode, and then following a migration to use the full supply chain suite. And then the fourth scenario, running on a single instance deployment, having multiple legal entities operating with the warehouse management mode in its own company. But this can be combined with any of these and probably a lot more. So let me present the high-level architectural thoughts around the warehouse management only mode. The architectural concept you see here shows the things around needing, of course, some kind of ERP or intelligent order handling system of some kind, and then integrating this to our warehouse. And this is done in a way where we have dedicated inbound and outbound shipment order messages. And these messages will be processed and become actual orders in the warehouse management solution. And these orders can be compared with simple purchase and sales orders, as I guess you all are familiar with as part of the supply chain management module. So talking about the order messages, we have prepared a very easy integration, and these can be imported either via Dataverse virtual entities using a managed data lake, and thereby have a very large amount of data that can be processed. Or you can combine this with some more direct API processes If it's small order, you can use even simple OData integrations or the data management framework processing here as an integration process, which I will actually use in today's presentation. The important part for understanding this is that no matter what, we will process these messages as part of the message process of logic. And this is the point in time where the actual inbound and outbound shipment orders, they will be created in the D365 supply chain deployment. And this is a benefit of this, several benefits, but you can take a large amount of data in and process this in a two-step phase, and also have validation run on top of all of this. Let me walk you through the parts that needs to be configured in order for you to use this new functionality. The supply chain management module you all are familiar with, and show you that you need to go to feature management and enable the preview warehouse management only mode. So this is the first step that you need to do. When that is done, you can go to source systems, which will be available. This is the place where you go and define all the integrations to the external systems. So you can have several integrations. Our thought is though that you most likely will have one source system and have like a middleware software to control all the integration points in case you're running this as a 3PL organization or something like that. But this is the place where you go and define the external systems. And as you can see, we have several things around both our inbound shipment order messages, like as an example of whether you will use external order numbers or take the numbers generated via the number sequences as part of the Dynamics supply chain. And then for the outbound, for example, we also have rules around when we process the message coming in, creating the actual order, do you also then run the reservation as part of this processing? And is it so that it's allowed even to create the order if you can't reserve all your inventory? We also have logic around whether you finalize, when you finalize both the inbound and outbound process, how often is that going to be processed? And the data around how do you actually map your product master data coming from the orders and as well the warehouse that are going to be used. Is it the ID representation within the Dynamics 365 supply chain, or is it an external code? I guess those been working with the environment for several years can see that this is taken from other kind of integrations. The concept of using the mapping as an example here. Specifically for the inbound shipment orders coming in, we have more logic around our load concept and also the concept around for a load getting automatically created as an example here. Do you then allow it to be adjusted when you say that you are done with your receiving? Typically scenarios around under delivery percentage, etc. Or is it so that you need to have an exact match according to your registration? I will definitely come more back to the concept around this in my presentation here. I will actually create the load data which is needed for the inbound process as part of the warehouse app registration process. So this is what will happen with just this basic setup we're having here. As soon as you have created a source system, record in the system, that's actually what enables the whole warehouse management only mode. And again, you can only do this if you have the feature enabled. But really, this record as part of whatever legal entity you are having here is the one that enables the whole system. And again, in the scenario of you running a warehouse management only and the only thing using that, right, this will be in a legal entity when nothing else will be run. And just to make it very quick and very fast for this demo, I'm just using the existing demo data for this. But there's a recording and some of the external links here that show how easily and fast it is to get it up running in a new legal entity on a complete blank database. But let's take the next thing that is important. The background processing, which will happen and be automatically enabled as soon as you insert this record in the source system, is a process that will make sure that when the messages are coming in, we will process the messages. And this will be set up running periodically, automatically here every minute. You can, of course, go and change this if this is not the preferable running process. And then there are other processes of finalizing both the inbound and outbound that also will be created as part of this message, the background processing of our process automation. I'll come back to these finalization processes as part of my following demo. So all of this has been automatically created. You also have the option to go and set up business events for this process. The business events are not a mandatory process, but it's something that you definitely can benefit from as part of your implementation here. And business events are basically used to inform the external system about something has happened as one. And you can also use this for your middleware software integration in order for you to know that you need to provide or read some data. I'll definitely come back to this as well. This is more to recall that you have the business events as part of the warehouse only setup here. And then, I guess the whole process about our module here, we of course need to have some kind of number sequences as part of this setup here. And just so you're aware that we have introduced several new number sequences that need to be defined in order for you to run the module. The inbound and outbound shipment orders, if you use the external numbers as such, you actually don't necessarily need to get inbound and outbound shipment order numbers, but it is an ID that we need to have in order for us to have a unique representation in the scenarios where you import order messages and create and use the internal order numbers. Then, of course, you would need those to be defined. And then for you to have a very, very quick try out experience, right? And that's basically my hope with this presentation, that after this one today, you will be able to hook up on your own deployment, enable it, and then everything, if you just follow this examples here using the USMF, this will be everything you need actually. So I'm using existing warehouse here, running the inbound configuration wizard. After I have done the source system setup, then I can actually now select my inbound shipment order. And then this is just follow the wizard here, set up the process, and now everything has been set up for the inbound process. And the same goes for our outbound wizard here, configuration wizard. And I guess there's no need for me to run it here because I actually already did run it once before this. But you get the concept here. Just run this wizard, and all you will see if you just process this through is that the work templates will have some data available for you to go and try out the implementation here, both for our inbound shipment orders and our outbound shipment orders after I've run the wizard with some simple setup here. And of course, the same goes for our location directives. So you basically can try it out very fast on top of either a complete new company or like I'm doing here, a existing demo data for Warehouse 51. So try it out with this, run the inbound and outbound configuration wizards, and you basically are ready for that. We, of course, also, because it's 2 new documents, we also need to set up our mobile device menu items, both for a inbound and the outbound process. So I have prepared here a mobile device menu item using the inbound shipment order item receiving, but you can use any of the existing well-known concepts for this. License plate receiving, our, of course, with put away and without put away, the load receiving, line and item. The only thing that is not, I would say, yet or are supported for inbound shipment orders is regarding the goods in transit. But else you can try out all the scenarios for the inbound process here. What I have prepared is also the next process that you will see a new process here for receiving complete, which will be an indication that now there's nothing more to receive against your inbound order or the load, and this will basically finalize that process. You will see that in a moment. And then, of course, besides your mobile device configurations here, you also would need to go and set up the actual communication as part of the environment. And what I'm going to use today for this is that I'll use Postman to play the role of being an ERP / order system, and then also the middleware software here. And I'll actually use and integrate up against the same user that our client account here that we're using for our warehousing app. And note that in order for this to work, you will need to have the security or the access to import and process the data. And here you need to use the privileges behind all of this, and that's a role we have called the Warehouse System Integration Operator, which is the role that contains the needed privileges for taking in the messages and create our orders against those messages. And of course, if you are running in a new environment or you want to import the product master data, you also need to have the proper roles for creating products. But I hope this is all existing logic. So I hope that speaks for itself, that in order for you to create the master data for products, you need to have the privileges for that enabled. Else for my demo here, I have also added or set up some detour concepts to look up, but that's more for me to have an easier way for the demo. So with that, I'm actually more or less ready for going into the inbound process and then try to show you examples for that. I hope the concept of showing examples would be an easier way to understand also the high-level architecture behind this. So this is a kind of a blueprint or a concept about the architecture for our inbound flows. So the blue part, the ERP order management process here, whether it's being a purchase order or any other order like could be a sales return order process as part of this system here, doesn't really matter in the first phase, at least for the warehouse management only mode. We will, no matter what, end up taking in a inbound shipment order message, and create a inbound shipment order. And then, of course, this order can be indicated or marked or defined as a specific type, and thereby this can drive different business warehouse processes as such, but it will not take care of any of the costing parts, the financial data, etc. All of this needs to be taken care of by the blue part, so to say, and the orange part here is operating as our warehouse management only mode. So this purchase order will be created in this external system. A message will be created, and the message will be brought to warehouse only mode and processed. And via this message processing concept, the order will be created. And following from there, we will receive via our warehousing app. This will, like it had been a purchase order, do the registration and the work creation process if you're using warehouse in put-away work. And then we have this new step of receiving completed, which I'll come back to, and the business events around that to inform our external system that now data is ready to be consumed about what has actually been registered. And the reason for the business event really is to avoid the external system keep polling, asking, are there some data ready for me in a whatever periodic way? But you can leverage the business event to be informed. Now this receiving advised information is ready, indicating what has actually been received. And we store this data about what has been received as part of a new shipment receipt journal concept, a version journal that will contain all the data about the order and loads here that has been received. And this is what the external system then will use for the finalization of their orders, like the invoicing and also whatever costing updates. If we compare this with D365 supply chain purchase order processing, the data around our shipment receipt will be used for the product receipt posting for the purchase order. And then I mentioned that we have some finalization process, a background process, which basically will run against the inbound shipment order line transactions and get them in a finalized state, the purchased inventory transaction state, just for us to settle and get everything closed out as part of the warehouse management only mode. So with that, let's actually go and now I will show how you can easily set up and try out this concept. So I'll create a purchase order in our ERP solution and have a middleware software by a very simple process, Postman. And Postman, I mean, you can of course use, you can write your own Asia story and use Dataverse and whatever. It doesn't really matter. This is just a very fast way to get some quick introduction for this module. The message itself, it doesn't matter how it's created, so to say. The important thing to understand is that we have the message created as header and line concept. So certain must-have data information needs to be provided, like the message ID, and we also need to know which source system this originates from. As you may recall, I inserted a record and called this ERP, so it must be that name, and then an order number in the warehouse. And the lines are also very, very basic. This is the minimum data around this, where you need to indicate a order number, line number, the item, and again, because this is demo data running on top of the USMF, we already have a release product with this item ID, so we don't need to create it. And then the quantity and the unit. So we would say unit and the surrounding things around product master data, I'll come back to that, is needed in order for the message processing to accept and create the order behind this. And you can see it's this is just the line 2, and then we end up with a completing the message story. So this is running like the old data concepts, or I'll just write this one up so I don't run on top of an existing order I already had. You can do that. But in case you already have registered something, you will actually fail and say that things are already registered. Now, this was almost what needed for me to send off a message. What will happen now is that they will be received via our message processing. Well, let's go to our message processing messages information here. Those of you that may already are using this, we have it for reporting experience for production orders and also for the integration with the more manufacturing equipment, etc. You know that this is something that you set up in a batch job and then it will process. And this was actually what I showed that would automatically be doing. So after a minute or so, this one will be processed. We have it under a inbound shipment order message page as well, where you can go and read in more details about all the messages that has arrived in the system here. In case some of these have failed, like in this message as an example here, you can also edit it and make updates and reprocess it. Do note, of course, that this is probably only for testing, because it's clear that, let's say you go and create a new version of the message here, modify it and reprocess it, and let's say that you change the item number, you can actually change it to an item number that the external system don't even have created, and now you can kind of be out of sync. So this is definitely something we recommend only in testing or in production, only for the really one IT guy who knows about what is okay to go and change. So save the privileges definitely around this process. So as soon as the messages have been processed, it will go and create the actual inbound order. And the inbound order is very similar to a basic purchase order. I mean, it's header and lines, but you see there are very few things that you can do compared with a purchase order. So it's a very, very simple order that you use here. And there's no costing update concept. It does have all the things around. We're still leveraging the same concept of inventory transactions, and we're still leveraging all the functionalities here. And that's also why that everything that you already are familiar with around for the existing processing of purchase order, this will also run on top of this one here for inbound shipment orders. So now having the order already created here, we are ready for like the next processing, which is the receiving. And as I mentioned, I did create already a mobile device menu item here with the item receiving, and I had a lookup data inquiry process around the inbound shipment orders. You can see here that those that are old ones here that are not being completely received yet, they are still open for me to receive, but this will be the new one. And let's just this is exactly the same as you know for purchase order, because now we are on the warehousing app. Nothing really matters here. All the processing that you know of will be the same. So we have two lines here that we receive against. The new thing that comes here is that we are having the receiving completed process. I hook this in here as part of my mobile device menu item as a detour. You can also receive complete directly on a load. Because I have set this one up to not create the load as part of the import process, it has created the load as part of the registration process. So now I can just receive complete this one now. And what we will see when we go here and refresh our inbound shipment order, it has been updated to received because we have received completed In this case, it's one-to-one mapping, one inbound shipment order, one load has been created completely automatically as part of the registration process. And you can set this up in whatever way that makes sense exactly for your business needs. The important thing is here that the receiving completed process did create a business event. After or on top of that, it has created data in a shipment receiving journal. So if we go now and look at our shipment receiving journal data here, you can see that this is the data that the external system will go and fetch and get information about, either completely one-to-one by having the access to it, or via some kind of middleware where this data will be packaged and made ready for the external solution. In my demo here, I can see that I just need to log in here on the environment, because I'm running a very simple demo process here where I just hooked in and have a quick .NET application creating or listening for business events, right? And you can see all of these events, they will keep firing every time something is updated. And of course, this will not be something that the end user at all will be needing to be, having the knowledge about. This is just to inform you that the kind of middleware software integration or so would be listening to these business events. And as you can see here, the shipment receiving version number here will be informed via the business event here, right? So this is the ID that uniquely makes it possible for us to go back now and play the role of a middleware integration software and get some data around the shipment receipt data here via, I'm using here the Postman again. So I'll paste in this unique ID, and I'm running this one up against my USMF company here. And as you can see now, this is what the external system will receive of data information, that we have just received 10 pieces against our order line number 1 for this order we just created. And we received 20 pieces against the second order line for the same order. And of course, if the external system are needing more detailed information, it can go and fetch and get even the license plate information about what was actually shipped out of this. So basically, it is more or less like the same as a outbound ASN data information that you can use here, and then again use this against the invoicing and further costing updates as part of your ERP solution here. And this will then, following background processing, will happen against these inbound order line transactions. So they will be kind of finalized. Not important to show. This is just running a background process for you. I hope this kind of give you an idea about the concept for the inbound flow, the high-level architecture of the systems needing to communicate between each other, and also give an indication about that you can actually leverage the business events to be informed about data, using maybe as part of the middleware software for the communication, and then also that you have a journal concept describing here what was actually physically registered, received, updated against your orders here. The same concepts are also leveraged for the outbound flow. So the outbound flow is very similar in the sense of a outbound shipment order misses, right? Where there's a sales order, or it could be like an outbound transfer order, or the other outbound flows for the external solution will be processed, and a actual outbound shipment order will be created as part of our message processing concept. The thing is that this is a little more advanced, so to say, as part of the processing. It's not only a validation process and an actual order creation process. It has also the capability, as I mentioned briefly, to reserve and have logic around, is it acceptable to partly reserve besides making the reservation, or does everything need to be reserved? There are also some processing around how do we actually make our shipment consolidation when we release to warehouse. But else, all the rest that you hopefully already are more knowledgeable than me about, the existing processes here in our warehouse module, the containerization process, the packing operations, and outbound sorting, etc. All of this will run against these outbound shipment order lines in the same way as if it had been a sales order line. And when you ship confirm your load, then we will create a new shipment packing slip journal concept in case you reverse this one. This is the data again that the external system will use for the outbound as it dispatches information in order for the external system to process the following financial updates of invoicing, etc. And if I should make the same comparable with as I did for purchase order as part of the 365 sales order, this will be what will be leveraged as part of the sales packing slip process. This data is a one-to-one conceptual match to order to provide the data for the sales packing slip. So with that, let's quickly go back and again play the role of a external system here. Actually, I completely forgot, maybe I'll do that actually for the outbound flow, because of course this is old data, right, that I just run here. So the data amount is not great. In case you are bombarding now, let's say a sales order here with thousands of records within a few minutes here, right? So of course you can also leverage the data management framework either as a package, data as I have here a XML file. So let me show this here for the outbound flow. Data management processing. I guess you all are using that, and this is of course we are building on top again of the same concepts here, right? So data management, what we have is for this example here, I'm using a combined entity, and the outbound here message is having now the header and then the lines. So this is completely the same as you saw for my inbound here. This is just a message, a file that I will send off in this example here. So if we go here and just process this one, and while this one is processing, then I will actually show you the old data. I need to authorize. My plan was, and I'm sorry about that, to actually show this for inbound. So that's why. But now I am using the outbound, so I'll just quickly make myself allowed to go and process this one for my outbound flow as well. So now we have sent off our file, so let's see if it succeeds or not. Else we'll just do it in another way. While this one is getting processed in the background by our data management framework, let me show the outbound shipment order messages as part of the OData entity. So this is the header. This is the only data as a minimum you need here. If we take like a little more data and view the body around this one, you see that it can contain more data than this. But this is the minimum data that you should use to get your orders accepted and imported. As you may note, we do need the country origin. This is because we are building on top again of the existing processes, and the shipment will need an address. So as a minimum for us to create an address, which we will do automatically here, we need the country of origin, just for your information here. But else the lines, very similar to the inbound flows here. You just need to have the number, the item, the quantity, and the units. You see here that I have two orders lines here going in, and then the complete information here for the whole data. So this is you see, very, very similar message concept as the inbound, very basic header and line concepts here. But now that I have the process of showing the data management for our outbound shipment orders, just go to data management here and then just see how far did that one actually go. So to make this kind of integration here, what I've done is that I've created a outbound shipment order message composite entity as a setup here. And then, of course, in order for this to run like in a frequent way, I just set up a periodic process to go against this one. And you can see that this message have already been processed, so we should be fine. It has most likely also already processed via the message processing. So if we just take and go here and copy our order number, which will have been given by the external system, and we go to our outbound shipment order page. This is similar to the inbound shipment order page. Here, we see hopefully that we have now, not yet. Let's go then to, this is the one place. So this message here, this was an old one. Let's see. I'll go to the outbound shipment order messages here. Let's see. Received. Okay, so it needs to run our message processing first. So every minute this will be picked up. If we go quickly and do this by ourselves, it should be processed. Good. So I hope you get the concept that every minute batch job will run and will create our outbound shipment orders. Good. So orders will be created as part of the message processing, and because I set up for the outbound process via the message information for our system integration, the source system that it should preserve, it already have preserved the order lines here. And the next thing that we then would need to do when we have the orders created is to release it. And of course, then following the kind of waving concept, as you all are familiar with. And releasing can be done like you have for sales order. We have a automatic release process for our outbound shipment order. Which can be set up as a background process. So this is similar. You can set all the same rules and policies around this one. In the next release that you see, I'm actually demoing here on a middle version that what you see in 38. You will also be able to create the loads up front via the outbound load planning workbench. For inbound loads, you already can do that to create the loads, but that can also be a possibility for you to do that. So, but what I'll do here is that I'll just go and release our order here directly from the order. That's just the quickest way for me here. So now having this one released, and you can, by the way, see that We do have statuses kind of similar to sales here, that we have the release date and we have the shipment state for this one. So now, having this one released, we will also have in a while, hopefully, when the batch job picks up the wave, which is done here, the work created, and now we can just process the work like any other work, basically, right? The only thing again is to have the outbound shipment order work order type as part of this. So all work, and that goes, of course, also for the inbound flows. The work that we created before for the inbound flow, in order for you to process that work, whether it's being the material handling system, the integration market by the warehousing app, or completed completely automatically, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is, of course, that you do have the work order type defined as part of your processes. So else all the existing flows that you are familiar with, they should run the same, because the code is kind of saying whether it's a outbound shipment order line or a sales order line. It doesn't matter whether it's a purchase order line or a inbound shipment order line. The concept should be the same. So I will not show this on the warehousing app. I'll just quickly go and process our work here. So now, having our work process for in this case here, the outbound order, you will be able to ship the load here. And I just wanted to go here and see now it has not been shipped updated from here, even though that if we look at now the transactions for the outbound, they have been picked because they've been brought to the beta. You would have seen that the inventory transactions for the inbound would have been registered as soon as the warehousing app did the processing. If we go now to our load for this one, the load for outbound is similar to sales order processing. We do, though, create now, when you go and say that you are ready to ship it, we do create a new journal. So that is, I guess, the new important thing for you to be aware, that you have a information that you can use for the external system. The external system, again, will use this as part of business events. So you can go and read the business event and then look up the data. Now, in order for me to make this possible to finalize as part of the time, I will quickly skip that part here to show this, and just inform you that, of course, we also have processes around the warehouse operations. Whenever you do a update regarding adjustments, whether it's an outbound adjustment, inbound adjustment, accounting process, that runs via the inventory accounting journal. And this will create a business event, and it will be possible for you to go and read the data directly via a entity here as well. So the external system can be informed about updates via the accounting journal process. We also have the possibility to go and create a on-hand inventory information report. Actually, the word of report, it might be a little wrong, because as such, it's some data that will be created as part of a process of running this create source system on-hand inventory report. You indicate which source system you want to create this data against, and the date. So this will definitely be important to understand also from a background processing, that if you run this, let's say every day, it will override the day here based on the recurrency that you define here. And it's also important to understand that the report, the line data, will be created based on the level of information here. So in this example, it's on the warehouse level. So an inventory status level, if the external system are capable of understanding inventory status, they will be summed up, all the transactions here, and provided as part of this data. And the data in the external system, when you receive this as part of the external system here, this will look, if we just call this one here, this is a report that I have created in whatever point of view. So we can see, you get the information about the header and the date that this data was created. And then this is the sum of on-hand information that you will have as part of this. So this is a header line concept, this information for the on-hand, that the external system can use, and then you can use this for on-hand conciliation processes. And finally, as part of the 10038, we do have a warehouse inventory update log process. So basically, every transaction update that happened will be collected, and every, depending on your setup here, let's say as a quick setup process, as part of when you set up the system, it will set up a periodic 10 minutes process here. So it will kick off information and collect like a header line concept, so you can be informed about this data. So this is, for example, for processes where, let's say you do an inventory status change, to take that example here, and the external system would be capable of uptaking that data and know that maybe if you block inventory, then you shouldn't create a sales order for this and send down to your ERP solution, as an example. This report about the on-hand, you can of course also filter that data for this process here. I'm missing one maybe important process here for the on-hand and the process of counting journal, etc., regarding the master data, because the inbound and outbound shipment order messages, they will not have anything to do with costing processing, but the existing counting journal concept, that one will actually run and run all the deeper costing and accounting setup. But the item model group will be or has been kind of enhanced, so you can go and use a new non-valuated inventory model group. And with this model group, you can say that you do not want to post physical no financial inventory. And that makes it possible for you to set up your system very fast with your product master data related to this model group here. And you don't need to set up any accounting setup in your item group, nor it will call down on the deeper financial call stack. So this is definitely a way to make this a warehouse management only process by not at all needing to use any of the accounting data. So we call this set it up with a non-valuated in your warehouse only mode process. So I'm reaching to the slide deck here about additional resources. We have released a blog post. If you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend to go just read about that. All the documentation is available on our normal doc sites for this warehouse management only. Everything that I, more or less, I hope the things that I have mentioned here are also documented there. And then this is running against the supply chain management offering. So when it comes to like listings and pricing, etc., this is basically the listings for supply chain management. So basically a 20 user listing. And then there are on top of this, the order part about the inbound and outbound shipment orders. But this is like you can go read about what is needed for running the warehouse management only. But of course, if you already are running and you have the listings for this, etc., you can just use this on top, as I just showed case here. And then there are more recordings. I did one quick one here on the how to set up, as I mentioned, in a brand new legal entity, what is needed for you to set up. And this is definitely where the item master data also would be needed to be imported via the existing data entity process or whatever you prefer. So that brings us, 3 minutes left for questions.
Yeah, thanks, Per. There were a couple of questions around whether the Postman collection will be made publicly available that you showed.
Oh, yeah, sure. I guess we can just do that. I'll figure out a way. I don't see any problem with that. Maybe just put it on Yammer or something, right? I guess it's that's fine. I mean, this is just the data. Sure, we can figure that out. Well, let me work on that and then make this available on our, or it's now called Viva engagement process. Sure.
Great. And somebody asked, will we support manufacturing processes in the future, such as raw material picking and reporting as finished?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I wish I could say yes. I mean, how we will do it and when we'll do it, it's not the final. I mean, right now, this is the level we have reached. I would say that we are still working on, and you will also see that as part of the documentation, the processes which we see we need to finalize first, at least, is the more normal like warehouse processes, and so we are still in the plans of finalizing the cross-docking concept, which will be released very soon, and the self-return order process for more also being capable of running similar to self-return processes in a way, and following some more of these scenarios, and then we'll start looking into the more production-related scenarios. And so we are definitely interested in that point to reach out and get feedback on the business needs for that. So the answer is, I guess, we would love to do it, but when and how, etc., is not something that I can say right now.
Okay, and maybe a related question, and we'll end on this one, is that warehouse-only mode is only available as cloud online solution. So are there any plans to enable this as an on-prem option?
Yeah, so right now that's through. I mean, there's nothing preventing you from deploying this as a local business deployment. I mean, this will run like any other deployment that are operating like this. I guess we did start this hybrid topology, cloud and edge, like an initiative where we kind of wanted to be able to just swap around and go being on-prem, go to cloud, and whatever different processes, etc. And that's also something that we definitely consider, but it's not yet anything that we can comment on when and how, etc. So, but again, it is possible to run completely local business data like any other processes.
Great. Thanks, Per. There are a few more questions that came in at the end. We can try to hang on and just answer those in the chat. But otherwise, I will wrap us up. So thank you to our presenter and to you, our audience, for attending the Tech Talk today. We hope you have a great rest of the day ahead.